Hello, everyone. This is criminal profiler Pat Brown, and I have got a wild ride for you. I have been researching Fia Johansson. You know, she's what does she call herself? She calls herself a bunch of names. The investigator, the publicist, the psychic for the fake Polish Maddie. And this whole show is going to be on who's this bigger scammer. Yeah. And I think these are two scammers of a feather. But she's like a kindergartner. She just came up with this idea and threw it out on Instagram and said, "Oh, I think I could be Maddie McCann," with zero proof. And by the way, some of you out there in the YouTube world have said, "Oh, I don't know why you're so mean to her. You don't know anything about her." And I said I had email communications with her, and there were a lot of doubters out there, and they called me liar, which happens all the time on YouTube. So I will throw this out. Yes, this comes in from Julia, the one who claims to be. Oh no, she doesn't claim. She says, "I believe I might be," and so the discussion we had. At which point, I did a video that said she's a scammer. Absolutely a scammer. The video is linked below. And now that things are falling apart on the Maddie front, shall we say, so she is now moved on, as scammers do, to a new concept. And now she's going to be a little girl that went missing from Switzerland, the 6-year-old, which means that, let's see, how would that work? So she's a Swiss girl who speaks whatever she speaks there. Maybe she speaks German, French, Italian, whatever. And she is kidnapped at 6. She ends up in a Polish kindergarten speaking fluent Polish. You can't get more ridiculous than this. But hey, people are believing her. I mean, I can't believe how much hate I've gotten. How can you doubt this poor woman? And even if she isn't Madeleine McCann, she believes she could be. She's had trauma in her life, and she doesn't know who she is. I'm like, no, she knows exactly who she is. Her family knows exactly who she is. There's proof of who she is. She's playing y'all. Her family has said she's seeking attention. She tried to get somewhere with some guitar playing and didn't go anywhere. She tried to get somewhere in modeling. Got a little problem there, girl. I'm not going to say why. And apparently she said, yes, I did do porn. So she's got some issues, but the issues aren't she doesn't know who she is. The issues are she's an attention seeker, which means she probably has a personality disorder. And that's what she does to make herself feel good and to get all. And this time, man, she did a good job. She got all these people going, oh my God, it could be Maddie. No, Maddie died in the apartment many, many years ago, in my opinion. Based on evidence. I'll also put a link to my show on Maddie McCann. No. So, but she hooked up with Thea. Did I say? Yeah, Thea. And how, I don't know. I haven't figured that one out yet, but they're hooked up together. And I want to say right here, let me show you what Fia just put out. She says there's such exciting news coming up. I mean, it's huge exciting news because after all, finally I'm with Dr. Fia. Dr. Fia. I'll get into the whole issue about her education. What education does she really have? How does she claim to have a master's in psychology and a PhD in psychology? How is this possible? I'll also get into her childhood and the many, many interestingly conflicting stories she tells. And I'm going to get into all of that. I'm going to show you some things you're not going to believe. I'm going to show you where she's scamming and scamming and scamming. So when you're finished with this boxing match here, I'm gonna basically, she's going to lose every round. I'll KO her by the end. So hang around because I hate a scammer, and she's bad enough, but she's chump change compared to her. And the fact that she's able to get the media involved and she's a lot older, so she's youthful. She's not. So hey, yeah, she should know better. But she's been playing this game for a while now. Anyway, she's all excited because she's like, oh my God, I was with her team. What team? I haven't heard who the investigative team. I'm sorry, but she can't even investigate in Europe. She says she's a licensed PI, and I'll get to that too, but she's not a licensed PI in Europe or anywhere else for that matter, as far as I'm concerned. But I'll show you in a minute. But she's with my dream. My dream has come true. I bet you it has. You finally noticed. Look how happy she is. So she's with Dr. Fia. And here they are all huggy. Oh, it's so sweet. Okay. Yeah. All right. Before I go on too much, I do want to stop for just 1 minute so that I can let you know that since I am, unlike Fia, I'm not married to a rich man and I don't do scams, this channel does need support. This is an educational channel. You can join Patreon and be part of the live shows that I have. Please just like and subscribe. That makes a huge difference. And share. In this case, share on Instagram. I know a lot of you are going to be Instagrammers. Share on Instagram, share wherever you can, because do I want to take this woman down? I do, because I hate a scammer. And she's just, you're not going to believe what, I can't tell you. You're not going to believe what I got to share. Anyway, you can also support the channel with books. That's one of my books. It's below. And there's also a little dollar sign. You can click on that. Okay, that's the end of that. And as I go on, I also want to explain to you, this is an unedited video. I never edit any of my videos, mostly because I'm lazy. I hate editing. If I had to edit, I'd just stab myself in the neck, I don't want to do it. So I do all of my stuff straight through without editing. So, you get what you get. So you might find me, because I have so much information, if I get a little confused and can't find the little picture I want to click on, I apologize, but that's the way it's going to be. All right. So now let's get going with this is just, I've been so amazed. I've been working at this all day long. I just keep going, oh my God, all day long. So let's start with, who is this woman? Okay. Yes. Anyway, so I want to read what she said, because she's very upset, you see. She calls herself the Persian medium, and she actually does have that trademarked, which is okay. And I want to say right here, she has every right to call herself the Persian medium. She is from Iran originally. She is a medium, whether you believe in mediums or not. That's what she calls herself, and that is a work she does. That's fine. She doesn't have to be licensed to be that. She can even call herself a psychic detective, because there is no organization that gives any kind of certification for psychic detectives. However, saying you're a licensed private detective is another whole can of worms there. Psychic detective, she can say that. I don't have any objection to if she wants to charge people the $35 a minute that she charges, and people are willing to pay $35 a minute because they think she can help them in some way, spiritually, or whatever she can do. Bully for her. That is not my issue. My issue is when you're a scammer. All right. So she came out and she said this: to everyone interested in Julia's search for answers, please understand we are in the middle of an investigation. Okay, this is a vulnerable woman. No, she isn't. Seeking answers about her identity. No, she's not. And her life. No, she's not. Regardless of your opinions, and I do have one, she is a human being who deserves respect. Not if she's a scammer, she doesn't. And why? Because she's claiming to be a victim, and by wasting everybody's time and getting everybody focused on her, real victims, real missing people, real children who've been sex trafficked, real people who've suffered and can't get enough. There's not enough police money out there to investigate. Yeah, you're harming any other real victim. So sorry. No, I'm not okay with that. All right. So let's see. When everything is done in the investigation in a few weeks, you can learn more, but more now. Please respect this woman's privacy. Her privacy. She's been all over the freaking place. How much privacy? You can't put yourself out there and then claim you want privacy. I mean, it kind of reminds me of somebody like, who are those royals who keep saying they want privacy but keep writing books and doing television shows? I'm not going to mention their name. Okay. Privacy, my ass. Okay, so her background was challenging and messy. Probably not. There's no need to spew hatred, judgment, and especially threats There are no threats. This is a bunch of garbage. Like, people are threatening her now. But they can judge. Why not? She's not telling the truth. This is unacceptable, needs to stop. All right, well, I'm sorry, but it isn't stopping me, and it's not going to stop me from calling you out on all your bogus crap, Fia. All right, let's move forward now. Let's look at what she says. Let's look at Fia. She's Dr. Fia Johansson, also known as Persian medium, the subconscious mind surgeon. Okay, I have a problem only with the word doctor, because you have to have at least a doctorate, a PhD, or be a medical doctor. And she's never proven she has any of those things. So you have no right to call yourself a doctor. Next, let's see. She's a Persian medium psychic detective in the search for the missing. And she claims she's solved 22 cases with the police. I would like to ask law enforcement to please send me the proof of any of those 22 cases. I'm looking forward to it. All right, now, shocking inaccurate predictions in the case of Madeleine McCann. You know, when you screw up completely, you should take that one down, because look what she said. Psychic, which is Fia Johansson, claims Madeleine McCann is with a German family who don't know who she is. Fia Johansson thinks Madeleine is alive, but can't remember what happened. She believes she is now named Melanie and living with an elderly couple in the German district. And I don't know how to pronounce it. I've forgotten my German. My grandmother, who was German, said, "Du bist ein Dummkopf," you are an idiot. But I guess I still am. Okay. Wait a minute. She's not German? She's not living with Germans? Wait, she's not living with an elderly couple? Because I've seen pictures of her biological mother, who looks dead exactly like her. She's living in Poland with a Polish family, with middle-aged Polish parents. Thea, you're completely wrong. You're supposed to be a psychic. You got that completely wrong. It's all over the news. And you haven't taken it back. You still claim you're brilliant and you figured it all out. And yet you're running around with a Polish woman who is not a German and never lived in Germany, as far as I know. So what the heck? So how can you be, if you were right the first time, then you know she's a lying fake, but you're supporting her anyway. Why is that, Thea? Or you have to admit you screwed up and she's not, and Madeleine McCann isn't alive and living with a German family, but you're not admitting that either. So you see, this is the problem. One of those things is a lie. Which one? Fia. All right, let's go on. There's so much fun things. Oh my goodness. All right. Let me go on. Now on Instagram, where she has supposedly 6 million followers. And I don't know how she got the followers. I don't know. I hear you can buy Instagram followers. So I'm not saying you did, Fia, but that's a lot. And I don't know what's on your Instagram that's all that interesting, because what I see is you, oh, look how hot I am. Look how cool I am. Look, I'm all over the place where there's important people. Oh my God, look at me on a boat. Look at me in my little outfits. Oh, look at me here. Aren't I hot again? Look, I'm on set of some sort. Look, I've been photoshopped to death. Man, she do a good Photoshop. Woo-hoo. I'm thinking down at the bottom, she looks like Beyonce. Anyway, and here we go. Oh my God, now I've got trophies somewhere. It's like the most narcissistic. I mean, I know that sometimes Instagram looks narcissistic in general. People like to put up their pictures, but this is like narcissism on steroids. I mean, so I don't know where she got all these people. It's either like 90% men who just like to look at her body, because it's not bad. I'm not saying she's a bad looking woman, but how many people are there because she says anything worthwhile? I'm going to say not many. So, yes. All right. So now let's go into the next thing. Okay, so she's on Instagram, has gotten all these followers, supposedly. All right, let's look at her biography. And this, by the way, the biographies come from the person who is giving the biography, so she knows what's here. Dr. Fia Johansson is an entrepreneurial anomaly. I think it's mostly because she really isn't a very good entrepreneur, but she's a good scammer. The best-selling author. Oh my goodness! Sorry, I had to laugh. Let me skip down, because I'm going to do something on that right here. I'm going to skip down to the second to last paragraph. Dr. Johansson has spoken at the United Nations. Really? I mean, I could go to the United Nations building and speak at it, and then I could have spoken at the United Nations. And she's been featured in Forbes, the Wall Street Journal, CBS, NBC, ABC, and Fox News channels. And I'll get to her television stuff in a minute. Her written works include Success Strategies with the legendary Jack Canfield, author of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series, with 500 million copies in circulation around the world. She also authored Think Big with Brian Tracy. In addition to Recoding Your Brain for a Better Life, the secret to igniting your mind and achieving your dreams. Oh, wait till you see this. I tell you, wait till you see this. Okay, coming up. All right, let's look at the books that she has co-authored. Okay, here's the first one. All right, there it is. Success Strategies. Man almighty. I mean, this is a guy that wrote The Chicken Soup for the Soul. This guy made millions. Whew, whew. I'd love to co-author with him. Look at it. Fia Johansson and Jack Canfield. Oh my God, that's amazing, Fia. Except, here's the real cover. Uh-oh, where did Fia go? It's only Jack. And I did look on Amazon. There are some other authors, smaller authors that work with him, and her name isn't there. Do you know how she got on that book cover? Yes, it's called Photoshop. She freaking Photoshopped herself into the cover. Okay. Maybe just that once. Oh, but here she is. Think big. Now she's Fia Johansson with Brian Tracy. Oh my God, another great book. Oh yeah. Oh, she's gone again. Where is Fia? Yeah, because she's not on that book, because she didn't write that book and she didn't co-author that book. That's why she's not there. Again, Photoshop. Only this one's kind of funny because you see how he's in the middle? She had to shove him over to get her butt in there. And then if you look here, there's actually, if you actually see it up close, it's actually on a slant. So it's a really crappy Photoshop because she tried to put in the new title, the new author thing, and it was like not quite right. Yes. But she did write a book. She did. Let me show you her book. Hold on a sec. Where's her book? Oh, here's her book. There it is. Recoding Your Brain for a Better Life. As she self-pubbed this book, and she's had 10 ratings. 10. So I don't know. I would not call that a best-selling book, would you? And it didn't do very well either. 2.5 stars. As a matter of fact, I did pay the $9.99 at Kindle for it. And it was so bad. And when I pay for things, I keep them. But it was so bad that I did send it back 5 minutes later. I did Photoshop 2 pages of the just the preface part, so I can show you. But thank you, Amazon. Sorry, I couldn't read the rest of that crap. It was just bad. So anyway, all right. Now let's go back to her. Now we know that her book stuff is a lie. All right. Let's go back to something else she says. All right. I want to point out Dr. Johansson. Let's go down to the last paragraph again. Dr. Johansson has spoken at the United Nations, been featured in Forbes, Wall Street Journal, CBS, and NBC, blah, blah, blah. All right. Has she done some television interviews? Sure. You can see this one. I think this interviewer said, "My God, it wasn't even supposed to be aired. This was a private. I was just trying to do her a favor." I'm not sure if this is the right one, but I'm just. And here she is again. She's doing another one here. Let me tell you something. It's not that hard to get on a local channel. They always need somebody, and people seem to have this big fascination with psychics. So it's a local station. If you approach them, we'll put you on. Okay, but then she claims she was in Forbes. All right, let's take a look at the Forbes claim. All right, so here is her photo of Forbes. Oh my God, here she is. If you look at the top, it says the richest people on the world. Girl, nobody says on the world. The richest people in the world, but not on the world. Wait, are these people standing on the globe? Anyway, here's her picture. Okay, she's billionaires and so on and so forth. World's best people. That's a stupid sounding issue. Anyway, you see how Forbes is written all in red? Well, this is a real Forbes cover. It don't look like that. So I don't know what crappy Photoshoppy thing she did there. But she did do an article for Forbes. Okay, here it is. It's at Forbes.com. So you can go to Forbes.com. It is at Forbes. And this is done by, it's a part of Forbes called Forbes Women. Meet the medium who helps law enforcement solve the unsolvable. And the contributor here, and remember the word contributor, is a woman named Yola Robert. Okay, Yola, obviously you don't do any research, you don't vet anybody, and this is entirely true for television and journalism these days. They don't vet anything. All they want is they need content, and they'll put the content up no matter what. And the content, as a matter of fact, I read about the Forbes contributors. What they do, once upon a time there were things called journalists, and they were paid to work for Forbes. But now when they want internet, they need constant content, not just a magazine a month. They need content, because each content page has a massive amount of advertising on it. So what they do is they have contributors. Contributors either aren't paid at all. They just contribute these articles in order to get their name out there so they can build their portfolio. Or they're paid really crap, like $250 a month, but you got to turn in 5. I think if you make a senior contributor, you might get paid $50. And it says, right, I went to the Forbes site. It said you can put your article up, and they don't even edit the darn thing unless they see something like grammatically a nightmare. They just let it go. So they don't vet anything that's put up there. So all that has to happen is Fia hooks up with this woman and says, hey, write an article about me. And so she does. And I'm going to show you something in the article later. It is entirely amusing. So that's how that works. Don't believe everything you hear or read, especially when you got, oh, by the way, there's even companies that you can pay to get you an article where somebody will interview you. That's how shady this whole thing is. So Fia is not bad at finding ways to get her face out there. All right, let's look some more. All right, now she's got some really amazing things here. Okay, let me go to the second paragraph. Oh, wait a minute. I'll go to the first one first. She's a best-selling author, which she's not, an actress, which I'm going to get into just in a minute, film producer, celebrity medium, executive coach, and a licensed private investigator, which is not true either, as far as I know, and also a psychic detective with a doctorate in psychology, which I've never seen proof of, and human behavior known as persianmedium, has worked with tens of thousands of people around the globe to help them reach unbelievable heights. Tens of thousands. That girl must never sleep. That's a hell of a lot of people to help. At $35 a minute, I don't think tens of thousands of people can afford you. All right. Now, she's the very notion of helping people build incredible success isn't just part of her brand. She's the walking embodiment of it. My God, talk about what a bunch of bull. I mean, it's amazing. She built her multi-million-dollar empire. That's never been proven. I think she's married to a fairly wealthy dude. He's got successful businesses. I'm going to show you how she worked for him in those businesses. I think everything, if there's any money out there, it's his, not hers. I just don't believe it. Or she'd be like listed somewhere as one of the $1 million women in the world. After leaving her native country to Sweden, which was Iran, she was in Iran, born in Iran, goes to Sweden. And I'm going to do a whole thing on the whole move to Sweden thing, which is absolutely hysterical. And then to the States, where she works with celebrities, high-ranking executives and CEOs of Fortune 500 companies, doctors, lawyers, foreign dignitaries, and even the U.S. government officials. I am a total waste of space. I haven't done any of that crap. I mean, I've been a criminal profile for 20 years. I've been on television for 15 of those 20 years and still am. I mean, I haven't met anybody. I mean, I just feel like a loser. Anyway, let me get on to her film career. Oh, yes, her film career. Okay, let's go to the third paragraph. The second paragraph. Sorry. Aside from her multi-million-dollar entrepreneurial success, she's also an accomplished actress. Have you ever heard of her? Oh, really? No, neither had I. And film producer. She starred. This is the word that makes me laugh. Starred, not just was in. Starred. Now there is a difference between absolute truth, spinning, and lying. But she really leans over to the completely lying side of things. Starred in American Sicario. This is directed by RGC and features a legendary Danny Trejo and was released by Saban Films. She's also featured in Don't Suck, which I didn't watch because I'm pretty sure it did suck. So, but let's take a look. Let's take a look at the Sicario film, because I did. I went to watch her because I went over to IMDb and it said she was playing. What was the name of I forgot the name of the woman she was playing. Darn it. But anyway, she was in the film, and so I went to watch this film. Now, here, by the way, is the film, American Sicario. You see all the pictures there, but she photoshopped it again. Oh, look, now she's pictured in the, in the poster, shall we say. So I go to watch this film, and I'm looking for her. Okay, the main woman in the film is the wife of the American Sicario. He's an American who goes to Mexico, and he's going to be a cartel leader and shoot everybody up. And he's got this Mexican wife, and it's not her. And then there's a whole bunch of scenes with prostitutes and lap dancers. And I'm looking, going, is she in there? Didn't see her. Swear to God. I watched the whole film to find her. And one of the reasons I watched it, because I actually, in spite of its bad ratings, I liked it because the guy that plays the American Sicario, the American cartel guy, he looks so much like my son-in-law. It's freaky. And he acts like my son-in-law. And I'm like, man, if my son-in-law were going to go to Mexico and take on a new lifestyle, that would be him. Except I will say my son-in-law would have been smarter than the guy in the film. But anyway, waited. And finally, she does show up. So there she is. There is Fia in a lawyer's office answering a telephone. And in that, this is hysterical, in that moment, and she looks at her phone, it says Avid. That is the name of her husband's company that she does the $35 a minute psychic stuff for. I mean, it's a little ad placement in there, okay? Now, look where it is in the movie, though. Do you see how there's only 9 minutes left in the movie? Yes, that's correct. An hour and 40-minute movie. There's only 9 minutes left. She comes in at 1:31 and 29 seconds. Her spot ends at 1:32 and 27 seconds. Wow. She's starring all right. She's starred in that movie. Oh, no, I shouldn't be unfair. She comes back 30 seconds later. She's in a car. She answers the phone in the car. And she gets another, let's see, 1:32:49. She gets 1:33:20. She got, is that almost another minute? Oh my God, she got almost another minute. So she has like 2 minutes in this movie. Sorry, lady, you ain't a star, and you aren't starring in anything. You're a bit player. And I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe she is at least an actress, and she's like in Hollywood, and she's made it finally to get a speaking part. And then I saw this. Rick Aram. He is known for American Sicario. Producer. Well, he's not actually a producer. He's an executive producer. Do you know what an executive producer does? He funds the film. Do you know who Rick Aram is? Yep, that's her husband. He funded the film and said, hey, put my wife in there someplace. And they did, because he put the money in. He bought her little 2 minutes of acting fame. So there we go. Another bunch of junk. All right. So that's that. That's her. Now you see that she's got books that she didn't write that she claims she did. She's claimed she stars in films, which she really doesn't. And she's claiming she's this multi-millionaire and entrepreneurial, amazing human being, which there's no evidence of anywhere. But let's go on. Let's go to her childhood. Because it doesn't, it's not going to not get better here. It's going to get better and better. I just can't believe this stuff. Oh my God. Okay. This was in her book that I sent back. I have lived through a difficult, my camera's covering that, a difficult upbringing and blah, blah, blah. I felt overwhelmed and constantly being at the receiving end of life blows. She knows what it's like to be a victim. So sad. Anyway. All right. So now you have to pay attention to what she says here, because she's going to say something completely different someplace else. This is what I'm saying. She tells three different stories, and either only one of them can be true. Well, maybe not even one of them is true, but it's certainly, if you tell two different stories, so you're lying. Somewhere you're lying. You're lying here or you're lying there. And this is one thing people do over periods of time. When you have a scammer, when you have a pathological liar, they can't keep track of their lies. So they forget what they said the last time, and they think it's all, they don't think there's any evidence left. And this is sometimes what killers even do. They'll like think, well, I think I might want to kill my wife. So they go online and they go, how do I kill my wife? And they leave this trail. And they're not thinking right then they're actually going to do it. But when they finally do it, they've left this trail behind them. This is what she's doing. All right, let's look at what she says about her family. My father died when I was a baby, bidding farewell to the world that had only just welcomed me into its fold. I never got to know him. All right, blah, blah, blah. During my teen years, I lost my mother to a very cold and personal hands of breast cancer. My grandmother, who had been my sole caretaker for so long, was also taken from her at age 12. So her dad supposedly died at birth. Keep this in mind. Her mother died in teen years. Her grandmother raised her alone. I don't know where her mother was. So somewhere along the way, she claims basically her parents did not raise her, that she was raised by, actually she says in another location that she was raised by her grandparents. But here she's only raised by her grandmother. What happened to granddaddy? I don't know. He's gone. All right. So now here it says she was abandoned. And originally she says that she was abandoned by her parents, not that her father died. I was taken in by my grandmother, who had the most profound influence in my upbringing. Growing up within a single parent household, she was my support and my mentor and my guiding light. Okay, so now, all right, her grandmother's raising her alone. Big deal, right? Okay, let's go on. So she realized she had these abilities as young as 7 years old. Oh, wait. Let me explain this. She tells the story over and over again that when she's 7, that was when she first recognized her psychic abilities, you see. And what happened is, there's a story about a child being in a car accident on the way after she played with the child, and the child leaves the house and is in a car accident. She has a premonition in her head that child is going to be, she sees these lights and horrible crashy things and blood, and she sees that child's face with blood. So she's, oh my God, she tries to stop the child from going in the car, but she doesn't succeed. Now here's the first story. She realized she had these abilities as young as 7 years old when she was home one summer in Iran. Where was she the rest of the summers? That's interesting too. Anyway, her cousins had come over to visit, and while they were leaving, she had visions and sounds of an accident. She begged them not to go, but they did, and after 2 hours, her parents got a phone call saying they had been in an accident. What? Your daddy's dead. Your mother's not living with you. How are suddenly your parents get a phone call because you're living with the dead daddy and the deserted mommy? Isn't that interesting? Yes, indeed. That's one of those stories that keeps changing. Now, she says also her cousins, but let's see if I can find this one here. Okay, here we, oh, no, that's not it. I'm not sure where I have it here. Okay. She's on one of the television shows. Sorry, that's where it's at. She's doing one of the television shows. And she says, it started when I was 7 and one of my friends came over. Oh, wait a minute, I thought it was your cousins. Now it's just a friend. You see how things change? You hear dinging in the background. Somebody's trying to contact me very, very heavily here. Hold on a second. I'm trying to move this thing so it doesn't make so much noise. Hold on. See, it's not edited. I'm going to hide it under something. It's dinging and dinging. It's on silent. Dings anyway. All right. So consequently, she's got this cousins and or friend. Which one is it? If it, when you have something that absolutely happens to you, you know what that is. But she changes the story, so you know that she's making something up here. Because supposedly, what's really interesting is, in my opinion, when I analyzed everything, I did not see her coming into any psychic kind of stuff until about 2016, maybe 2014, 2016, around there. That's when she popped up with her website. Prior to that, I don't think she ever did any psychic crap. I think what she's doing is backtracking and trying to make a history of psychicness to match her new lifestyle. That's what I think is happening. Now, let's go further. All right. So anyway, let's go on. Okay. All right, let's go here. Now she's 8. She's seeing the dead and communicating with them. Okay, fine. Let's go further. All right. So this gets it more and more interesting. So she gets receiving messages at an early age. She did not start to publicly use her gift until she was an adult. along with volunteering her time to solve cases. The first case Johansson's ever solved was during her time living in Stockholm. Now pay attention to this. One of her neighbors had gone missing for a few days when she started to sense something terribly went wrong. I went to the police so I could share with them the information I was picking up about the whereabouts of their body. Again, this kind of gift is inexplicable. But I shared them the information with the police, and they found the woman's body and arrested the perpetrator. One of her neighbors had gone missing. This after she'd moved to Sweden. But how did she move to Sweden? Let's find out about that. And let's remember, her first case is the neighbor who goes missing. Or is it? All right. Early life. Johansson was born April 10th, 1982 in Iran. When she was 14, Johansson moved to Stockholm, Sweden, alone. Alone? She's 14. How the hell do you move to another country completely alone? No family, alone. You just go to another country alone at 14? How the heck do you even do that? Let's go further. She independently supported her day-to-day activities. Well, I'm sorry, but at 14, the only way you can do that is prostitution. But I'm not going to say you're a prostitute. I'm going to say, I don't believe this story at all. She independently supported her day-to-day activities and education, along with pursuing her dream to become an entrepreneur. Because at 14, she definitely knew she wanted to be an entrepreneur. She launched several businesses worth a fortune during this time. What? She's launching huge businesses at the age of 14 in a country that she's never been to, that she doesn't speak the language of? Really? Holy God. And that later, Johansson enrolled in a master's degree in psychology. Really? Okay, here's the psychology thing supposedly coming into play. Let's go further. Fiona says she solved her first case at age 14 when she moved from her native Iran to stay with her uncle in Sweden. Oh, you're not alone. You have an uncle in Sweden. Oh, I see now. So you had somebody to stay with. So now you're not supporting yourself and living on the street? Okay. Let's go further. Fiona says she solved her first case at age 14 when she moved from native Iran to stay with her uncle in Sweden. Without being able to speak a word of Swedish, she claims she managed to solve the case of a missing girl called Jessica Anderson, who had disappeared 10 years earlier. I'm not going to go into that whole nonsense. Oh, wait a minute. It's not the next door neighbor. It's 10 years ago somebody went missing and you solved the case. Oh, no, wait a minute. Let me go get the phone that is making the dings because I really do want to read this to you. Supposedly, she actually, according to another place, when she was 13, this is before, at 14, she moved to Sweden. She was in Iran and was able to do things because of her great, incredible mind, do things like computer stuff that she didn't even have training for. Oh my God, yes. And she became a marketing manager to a big company at age 13 in Iran. A marketing manager for a big company. Then she moved to Sweden at 16. Oh, what happened to 14? And then at 17, she had a psychic experience. This one is, she was in a store and this police officer was trying to walk out and she grabbed the police officer and said, "You can't go out or you'll die." And he got mad at her. He said, let me go. But she wouldn't let him go because if he went around the corner, around this wall, he would be shot and die. And later on, the police found out there was a wall. There was a guy hiding behind the wall with a gun and he would have died. You see? So that was her first case. Or was it the case from 10 years ago, the missing girl? Or was it the neighbor? Fia, and her real other name is Fiona. Can you keep any of these stories straight? And also she says she didn't speak English or Swedish. She didn't speak English or Swedish. So wait till you see the next part. All right. So let me see if it's in here or not. And okay, that's the Jessica thing. And by the way, let me throw this one up. This one here, she was shooting a gun. At the bottom, she says, she helped Swedish authorities with several cases throughout her teenage years. And at age 17, they sent her to a police academy to learn about crime scene investigations and law. Sure. Okay. I'm sorry. That is so silly. Okay, here we go. Let's go on here. How about this one? When she was 18, she decided to leave Iran. Now she's 18. 14, 16, 17, 18. She just can't make up her mind. Now, 18 years old, she's leaving Iran, which would make more sense in the fact that she finished high school in Iran? Actually, it's not even true. Wait till you see the education in the college she went to, which happens to be in Iran. Okay, but now she's saying when she was 18, she decided to leave Iran to explore her abilities and connect with her spirituality. She moved to Stockholm, Sweden, where she knew of several programs that could help her hone her talents. I wanted to know why I had this gift and how I could use it for good. While in Sweden, she received her master's degree in psychology, Unproven, and then a doctorate from Stockholm University, Unproven, and also studied hypnotherapy. She was later accepted into a very challenging and selective program where she trained with a spiritual master, whose name is not known. Boy, she does all that and she can't speak English or Swedish. Amazing, isn't it? All right. That's her background. Okay, let's go to, hold on, I got to take a sip of something. Let's go to her work life, and then we'll go to her education. Her work life. Now, this changes a lot too. All right, here we have. On the left, we have one version of her work life, and on the right, we have another version of her work life. Now, she is, if you look down at the bottom of the left side, she works as somebody called Erickson from 2000 to 2007. For 7 years, she works at whatever Erickson is. And then from 2007 to 2011, she's a managing director for 4 years in Stockholm, Sweden. So one would assume that if Erickson place had to be Stockholm, Sweden as well. But if you look over to the right, from 2004 to 2005, she worked at this performance and specialist life coach thing with the Stockholm County Council. Then from 2007 to 2009, while she's working for Agaris International, she's also the manager of human resources at Security Services. She's working at 2 companies as management. That makes sense. Sure. And then she's a coach and advisor from 2009 to 2013. That's on the right. And then she's got this other one, marketing manager. Okay. Then when you get up to the left side, you'll see she's working for a group called Excelicon. Okay. Now let's look at what Excelicon is. Wait, hold on a second. Let me stop one second here. Let me pull this off. My camera's in front of the thing I want to look at. And you can't move your camera while you're doing the show. So let me pull this up and see if I can see it here. Okay. I can't read that. Okay, hold on a second. Damn it. The camera's in. Hold on one second. I'm just going to move my camera so I can peek under here. Oh, that's Advid Advice. Okay. Advid Advice. That's the one where she gets the $35 for a minute. That Advid Advice is owned by, you're going to guess who? Wait a minute. Oh, let's see. Advid Advice. It's owned by Rick Aram, her hubby. Okay. So there you go. You see how that works? So he owns that and she works 5 years. They've had that in play. She makes $35 for a minute. There's like 4 other cheaper psychics, and that's a little business they run. But also, if you look at the Excelicon, she worked at Excelicon for 15 years. Who owned Excel? Whoops, that's not it. That's her. This is a picture of her at her $35 a minute. Okay, at the ad, whatever that place is. Where I want to find the. No, that's not what I want. Where did it go? Hold on a second. Damn it, it's gone missing. Oh no, here it is. Okay, here's Rick Aram. That's her husband. You see that he is the vice president of what? Excelicon. So she's working again at his company. Essentially, he's vice president there. So I don't know about these other companies. These other companies. Oh, and then look at this. Look at this crazy thing. Where is it? Where'd it go? Oh, here. August 2012 to present. That's 10 years. She's working as a mental health specialist for Scandinavian Airlines. Okay. Now she claims she's a psychologist and she's got a PhD in psychology. I want to show you what she actually graduated as. And here it is. If you look at the bottom, it says she got a BS in engineering from Shahid Beheshti University, which, considering that name, I assume is in Iran. 1995 to 1998, she's an engineering degree, which if she came from a fairly wealthy family, I'm going to say that's not uncommon. I spent a lot of time in India, and a lot of the kids growing up in India come from middle-class families. The families wanted to be doctors and engineers. And here we go. She got an engineering degree. And this I actually believe is true. Then when she graduates, and she spent 4 years getting the degree, which is reasonable, she goes to Stockholm, to the Stockholm University of Stockholm. She gets a master's degree, theoretically. But what is it in? Physics and socionome. So I looked up socionome. It's like economics. Did she get the master's? Maybe, but it's not in psychology. I don't think she's ever studied psychology. I don't see a shred of evidence that she ever did. So I think she got an engineering degree in a business. She's a business economics thing, and a lot of the things she's worked in. Let me show you this other one here. Look at what she labels herself as prior to becoming the psychic. Marketing and communications manager. That, my dears, is her real job. The industry is in design. She's worked at Ericsson as a sales and marketing manager. She's worked at Agaris as a managing director. She's worked in Excelicon, her hubby's company, marketing and communications manager. That's what she does. She's in communications and managing all the way up into close to 2016 when she gets this psychic idea and decides to run with it. So I don't believe she's ever had a psychology degree. I have no evidence of that. I think she's got an engineering degree and maybe business degree, economics. And so nothing wrong with that, but she's lying about everything else. Now, let me show you one thing about this. Remember, she's a licensed private investigator. Now, first of all, you have to be investigating. When you say that, you'd better say what state, because in the United States, you have to have a separate one for every state you're in. It's a pain in the ass. You've got some reciprocity between states, but generally speaking, I had a license in Washington, D.C. Did I get my license in Virginia? I can't even remember if I finalized that or not. It was many, many moons ago. But I couldn't get one in Maryland because you had to be a police officer, and I never was. And I couldn't get a license here. And it was a pain in the butt because we're what's called the DMV here, District of Columbia, Maryland, and Virginia. And, you within 10 minutes, you're across the lines. And when you're following somebody, you have cases. People have relatives and friends in all three states, and then you can't even cross the line and do the work. It's a pain in the butt. So we don't have reciprocity here. But, you have to get a license for being a PI in those states, and then you usually have to go through courses and all that. Well, she says she's a licensed PI, but she doesn't say where. And here is her. I want to show you her badge. So she puts this on a website. Private investigator, Johansson. Notice the number, A13870. Woo, woo. Where is that? I don't know, because I made that badge too. Look at that. Private investigator, Brown, A13870. I went in there, clicked all the stuff in. It's an online site. You can order badges from there. And you can order, unless if you order a police badge, you have to have proof. But if you're not ordering a police badge, they don't give a crap, and they'll send that stuff out to you. So there you go. So I believe that's a lie too. All right. Now, what left do I have to say about this woman? Oh, Lord. Well, the question you may ask at this point is, why is the media giving her the time of day? Well, because, again, they don't vet anything. A lot of them don't vet. Journalism practically dead. They don't care as long as they get a story out of it. The Sun, which she's done quite a few little interviews with, shall we say, they're like the scum of the earth. I'm sorry. Sun, you're the scum of the earth. The Daily Fail, the Daily Mail as it's accurately called, at least sometimes has reasonable stuff in it. And I've done stuff. I have been interviewed over time for quite a number of different UK papers or tabloids, whatever you can call them. And I've also done work with many production companies and many TV news shows. And let me tell you, it doesn't always go well. Let me show you a couple things from my history, just really quickly on Madeleine McCann. Look at this. Maddie McCann, criminal profiler, claims hatchet job and threatens lawsuit against 7 West. You're damn straight. By the way, the guy who wrote that, his name is Mark Sonokonoko. I think let me pronounce again. Sonokonokono. I can never pronounce his name right. Mark's an awesome journalist, one of the rare folks left in life. I claims hatchet job and threatens a lawsuit. And then you can see this one. U.S. crime expert who told the TV documentary Madeleine McCann's parents may have hidden her body, planned to sue the program for purposely destroying her reputation. And so I sent them over from my lawyer's, the information from my lawyer for the lawsuit. And so they published this. Now, so that I was libeled by the Australian show, and it sucked, and I never got a penny. Anyway, because it turned out I couldn't sue in Australia if I didn't make money there. Yeah, isn't that clever of them? Anyway, here's another one. Key to finding out, whatever, I can't behind my camera again. Madeleine McCann abductor walked right past Irish family carrying the missing girl minutes after snatching her, U.S. expert says. Abductor. You see what it says on top? Madeleine McCann abductor. Below it says, criminal profiler Pat Brown believes the mystery man seen with the little girl in his arms is the key to solving the case. That's actually what I said. They put that crap up above what I said. Here is what it took me months and months and months of work. Apology to criminal profiler Pat Brown from The Sun. An article key to finding Maddie. Expert says mystery man spotted on the night she disappeared is key to solving case of missing Madeleine McCann. Originally had a headline which reported that criminal profiler Pat Brown believed Madeleine McCann may have been abducted by a mystery man seen on the night she disappeared. To clarify, she believes the man is key to solving the case because there is a good chance he's Jerry McCann, but does not believe that he abducted Madeleine because good chance he's Jerry McCann. A version of the headline also suggested the two mystery men seen on that night might be the same person. In other words, that it was a Tanner man and this man going toward the beach. Kate McCann wrote in her book that she thought if the guy walking toward the beach was carrying Madeleine, then it had to be the same guy as Tanner man. Otherwise, he just grabbed Maddie out of the apartment, then hid for 45 minutes in some, I don't know, behind a building, and then started walking toward the beach later on, which I thought was nonsense. And I never said they were the same person. So, in fact, Pat Brown believes there were different men. We apologize for the error. Oh, they apologized after I went through. In the UK, you have to go through this whole process, journalistic integrity process. Took me like 6 months. They issued this apology, put it on. Of course, it's not print. I don't know if it was even printed in the paper. They put it on the website, and nobody ever saw it because it's on the internet, So whoever saw the original article never knew that was a lie. That's the way it works, you see. All right, so this comes to the end of what I wanted to tell you about our lovely Fia. So what do I have to say at the end about Fia? You decide for yourself. That ain't Madeleine McCann. And I don't think she's any Swiss girl either. I think she's an attention seeker with a personality disorder. That's my personal opinion. I am not saying I'm a psychologist. I've not had her in my office. I can't say she does have a personality disorder and just an attention seeker, but I'm going to say, as a profiler, she fits the bill. This woman is way ahead of this woman. She knows how to find a way to put herself in the news, to get herself more attention. And she's much slicker at doing it. But she appears to have had years and years and years of fabricating and lying about her history. I don't believe most of anything she said because they contradict everywhere. And I think it's only she created this history after she decided to become a psychic and a psychic detective and help police, which there's no proof she's ever done. So you can see from all the things I've shown that she is not trustworthy. And if you're still out there saying, oh my God, I love this woman, she's being so helpful to the poor Julia. My God. If I haven't convinced you by now, you're a sucker. And I'll say it straight up, you're a sucker. And if you want to put hate stuff in the comments, go right ahead and do it because I don't like scammers. And these are two of the scammers and they don't deserve the attention they've gotten. And somebody will say, well, Pat, you're giving them both attention now. Yeah, only because so much has come out that there's so much support of them. And I want people to understand what they're actually dealing with. So if the major media is going to go out there and print lies and allow them to play their games, I'm going to be here to say, stop playing those games. Everybody, you all out there, you can stop these two. You can take this video, put it on I don't have Instagram, put it on your Instagram account, put it wherever you can put it and let the truth come out about these two because they are hurting real victims out there who've been through some of the most horrific experiences that hopefully none of us watching this video have been through, but I guess some of you may have been through some of these kind of things. And you're going to say, yeah, it's not okay. It's absolutely not okay. So anyway, that is the end of what I have to tell you. Please do put your comments below. I do try sometimes to answer. I do sometimes respond to comments. I try until it gets out of hand and I can't keep up. But sometimes I do try if there's a good comment to be heard and something worthwhile to respond to. So thank you all for being here. Again, please do like the video. Please do subscribe to the channel. It is an educational channel. And again, I don't have a millionaire husband. Damn it. And if you are a millionaire, you want to marry me? Okay. No, I'm kidding. I'm a happy single woman. Anyway, thank you much for being here. Hope you enjoyed everything you've learned. Bye-bye.